And now on talkSPORT Extra Time, lights, camera, action, because we're going on location, but with the lockdown, location in your front room with half a dozen great movie offerings for you on the small screen and all on Freeview. Come on, you need these recommendations, and what better man to guide us through you is lockdown driving your looper yet? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, Mr. Ross, I have to admit, but I feel better every time I hear your great intro every week.
Brilliant stuff. Okay, well, let's start with some great movies, and you've got an absolute cracker, kind of Oscar-nominated. It's a kind of, it was billed as a horror comedy or comedy horror. I thought it was just a great horror film with a few laughs, as all horror films have. Film 4 tonight, 9 o'clock. Tell us about Get Out, and don't take that personally.
Well, of course, Get Out marked the best original screenplay winner on our very first Oscar night together, I think 3 years ago now.
The Roskers.
Which is, of course, the Roskers, our very first Roskers together. So this was the big feature film debut of writer-director Jordan Peele, then known largely as, just a comedian. No one expected that he had this great second career in him as this, contemporary American auteur. And of course, Get Out is the now acclaimed Oscar-winning story of a young black man who goes home with his girlfriend over the holiday weekend to meet her parents for the first time. They, of course, live in an upscale, upper-class area. They're a white family. He's in a mixed relationship. And, of course, there's something not quite right beneath the surface, as our clip will very quickly start to indicate for you.
Great movie if you've not seen it, and a great movie even if you have. 9 o'clock tonight, film 4. Here's Van's clip.
So how long has this been going on, this thing? How long?
4 months.
4 months?
5 months, actually.
She's right. I'm wrong.
Attaboy. Better get used to saying that.
Please, I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. She's right. I'm wrong. See?
Does he have an off button? This is exhausting.
I know, and I want to give you a tour.
Can you, unpack first?
You want to unpack? Before the tour?
I mean, you can hear from that clip, folks, this film crackles with a unspoken tension from the very beginning. It really is a kind of hypnotic film, this, isn't it? And very scary as well at times. Very
70s, very rooted in that subversive kind of horror of the 1970s. And that was an obvious influence upon it. Jordan Peele's made no secret. I mean, Jordan Peele himself has gone on to sort of usurp Rod Serling as the new figurehead of the latest iteration of The Twilight Zone, which I think says an awful lot about the clout he got from this film. But great performance from Daniel Kaluuya as the lead. Bradley Whitford, as you heard in the clip, great as well. This is an amazing movie and one I can watch over and over again, going back to that very first time that I sat in Universal with Jamie East, laughing like Gibbons, the pair of us through this. We loved it.
Great stuff, I guess. That's 9 o'clock tonight, film 4. Now, up against it on Sony Movies, and you can recall one and watch t'other, is a film that is now, to me, unbelievably 20 years old this year. It's the first of the East Trail 177 trilogy by M. Night Shyamalan. It stars, of course, Bruce Willis, also Samuel L. Jackson. It's Unbreakable. Now, this was the second time that Willis had worked with M. Night Shyamalan. They'd done The Sixth Sense together. And while this made money, it was regarded as a bit of a disappointment. But even at the time, Van, both Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis said, it's the first of a trilogy. And it took a long while for that trilogy to come to fruition. But this Unbreakable is, for those who don't know, and it's worth watching again, it's a kind of superhero film, but not based on a comic book. It uses all the tropes, all the kind of plot lines of a good superhero story. And it's about a man, Bruce Willis, discovering that he does have a power, and he has a weakness as well, but he has a power. Put simply, he is unbreakable. Here's the clip.
You're in the emergency room in the Philadelphia City Hospital. I'm gonna ask you some questions. Where were you sitting on the train?
Against the window.
In the passenger car?
Yes.
You're certain you were in the passenger car?
Yeah. Where are the other passengers?
Your train derailed. Took a curve too fast. A second train collided with yours after it derailed. The debris spread over 1 mile.
Why are you looking at me like that?
There are 2 reasons why I'm looking at you like this. One, because it seems you are the only survivor of this train wreck. And two, you don't have a scratch on you.
Now, it's quite a long film, this, but I must say, I'm being a smart aleck. I spotted the twist in Sixth Sense. I spotted the twist in Signs. I did spot the twist in The Village, which I think is a very underrated film by much.
Yes.
I did not spot the big twist in this. I really didn't. And I love this film. Are you a fan of this film? Are you a fan of the trilogy, first of all? Because the follow-up, which took 17 years to get to the screen, made a 2,000% profit and was the most profitable film of 2017 and led to the final leg of the stool, which is, of course, Glass. Do you like the trilogy?
I like the first two. I think Unbreakable is the strongest.
Yeah.
I liked Split, but I didn't love it. And I wasn't particularly fond of Glass because I think it was a bit too different from both films. I think it took it in a direction it needed to. But based on how you were describing it there, it did remind me almost instantly of why I love Unbreakable, which is it is a superhero film, but it's almost a spoiler to call it a superhero film because it's this Hitchcockian mystery to which kind of the big reveal becomes that it's a superhero film. Even though it has another half hour, 45 minutes after that, the way it goes about it is really subversive and really clever. I think it's a genuinely brilliant film.
And watch out for the standard cameo from M. Night Shyamalan. He's not playing a particularly nice person in this. Okay, now let's go to Saturday, and you've got a bit of a laugh for us, and we all need that. A big laugh, in fact. It's on 5. It's tomorrow afternoon at 4:40. It's Jim Carrey at his absolute finest. It's The Mask, or Mask, I think it's called. There's no definite article. I can never remember with Mask. Great film.
Oh no, this one's a the. This one's definitely a the. This is, would you believe, one of my favourite movies of all time.
I can see that because it's a great film.
This was my birthday film when I was 11 years old, and I have loved it ever since. It is, of course, the second film of what I call Jim Carrey's Hot 3. Jim Carrey had 3 massive hits back to back, and they were all academically great. They were Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber, and he had all of those in the cinema within 12 months. We forget.
King of comedy.
Exactly, and of course The Mask, groundbreaking special effects. General idea here is you've got a downtrodden, meek, mild-mannered bank teller named Stanley Ipkiss, played by I think he was 26 or 27-year-old Jim Carrey. The world's against him. Anything that can go wrong will. He's down on his luck. He finds the mask of the Norse god of mischief, Loki, a wooden mask that he puts to his face and becomes the inherent real-world spirit of Loki himself, complete with Tex Avery-style animation, groundbreaking special effects, and then in her sort of breakthrough role, I think she was 22 or 23 years old at the time, a model-turned-actress, Cameron Diaz, who I think stole everyone's hearts. I've got a clip for you of the Mask being arrested by the cops and having his pockets searched.
Brilliant. It's smoking.
Really big sunglasses. White corn. Smallmouth bass. Wow. Bowling pin. Mousetrap.
Little to the left. That's it.
I don't know. Any eyeball glasses?
I've never seen those before in my life.
Bazooka.
I have a permit for that.
Picture of Kellaway's wife.
What? Uh-oh.
Margaret! You son of a...
Jeez, I figured you had a sense of humor. After all.
You married her!
That's gotta hurt.
Get him!
You're right, it's kind of a human version of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, because he's a living comedy cartoon in this, isn't he, Jim Carrey? A remarkable performance. Great movie, this. Great call, Van.
It really is. I'll tell you something as well, Paul. You know, whenever we play the clips, I hit the mute button so that I can use my vape.
Yeah.
And during that clip, I was quoting along like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Not even the fact that Ed Balls was the Mask on Strictly Come Dancing a few years ago for one of his terrible routines could put me off this film. Now, I've got a biggie, which I thought was going to be huge at the box office. It's quite old-fashioned as a biopic. It's from 2001. It's Will Smith as Muhammad Ali. Just Ali is the title of the film. It's ITV4 tomorrow night, 10:10. The weird thing about it is, it actually was a bit of a box office dud, even though it's got Will Smith, Jamie Foxx, John Voight. It's a story of Muhammad Ali. I'm not quite sure why it flopped. Maybe because it was almost too kind of straight. It goes from the early days against Sonny Liston when he was Cassius Clay right the way through to the Rumble in the Jungle. But I thought this was a good, solid film. And while he's not the most charismatic of people compared to Muhammad Ali, I thought Will Smith made a great job of this. What did you think of this film, Van?
I think Will Smith is genuinely tremendous. I think there was Oscar buzz around him for this. I think he might have been nominated for Best Actor for this.
I think he was, yeah. I think John Voight was as well, for Best Support.
I think both were, definitely. I think I don't think either won, but I think it's a very good film. As far as why it wasn't a bigger film, because I'm with you on this one. If you told me back in sort of, 99, for instance, which is a lot of the development of Ali happened in 99, there was the implication that Barry Sonnenfeld was going to direct it because he had worked with Will Smith on Wild Wild West. Michael Mann was a hot ticket that year because he had directed The Insider. So there was a whole thing about who was going to do this movie. Michael Mann would end up taking. If you told me in 1999, Michael Mann directing a Muhammad Ali movie with Will Smith, I'd have just given you my money there and then and just called it a day. But the weird thing about this film is I think it is, like you say, I think it's a little bit too... It's first of all, it's a pocket of time. It's only a select number of years in the life of Muhammad Ali, rather than a full biopic. So it is more. It starts with the fight against Sonny Liston, and it is more about his, trying to avoid the draft, his comeback fight, his racial and political turmoils. And to be fair, that's where the meat is with the story of Muhammad Ali. But I can see the disappointment in why you would want the broader, life story.
Okay, we've got a clip for you, or we've got the trailer. In fact, it is a great film, folks. If you've not seen it, even if you have, you want a bit of boxing action, 10:10 tomorrow night on ITV4. It's Ali. Have a listen.
They're coming after you. You're important.
They don't want you to fight.
Federal Bureau of Investigation. Mr. Clay, you're under arrest.
Oh, so they're gonna take from me what no fight in the world can.
I cannot let you oppose them.
They bust you out.
You remember your name?
God don't care about you.
You think they give a damn if you get killed?
So what? So what? I ain't got to be what nobody else want me to be, and I ain't afraid to be what I want to be.
The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. Ah!
That's a great, great trailer and a great film, I think. If you've not seen it, folks, catch it tomorrow night, 10:10.
So good.
ITV4, Ali, Mumbai. And then we've got... No, I'm going to go first on this one, because I've got one just before midday. It's on Talking Pictures TV, which is a great Freeview channel. Old movies, new movies. I think they're showing Cabaret this weekend. They showed The Magic Christian recently. That bonkers film with Peter Sellers and go star Marlon Brando. But they've got an absolute cracker tomorrow. It's 80 years old this year. It's on at 11:55am on Talking Pictures TV, which are having a bit of financial problems at the moment. They're run by a daughter and father, basically from the shed in their back garden. So they're trying to start a crowdfunding thing to keep them going. I hope they succeed. Tomorrow they are showing a Calder Brothers Michael Powell classic, Thief of Baghdad from 1940, with Conrad Veidt as the baddie, Jafar, and obviously completely, I think, Disney-based Jafar in Aladdin on him. And they've also got Rex Ingram as the genie. You've got Sabu as the Thief of Baghdad. It's a lovely film, this. Michael Powell was one of the directors. There was also Ludwig Berger, Tim Whelan, and it was finished off in Hollywood in California. Well, that started this country with William Cameron Menzies. By the time they finished it, Sabu, the lead, had grown 3 inches. So that's just shoot loads of stuff in it. It's a lovely film, this, though. And if you want a bit of Michael Powell action, coincidentally, 5 minutes later on BBC Two, Colonel Blimp, The Life of Colonel Blimp is on BBC Two, another must-see film. But let's have a little bit of The Thief of Baghdad. It is 80 years old this year, but the special effects are still, okay, they're dated, but they're still absolutely magical. I love this film, and here's why.
Come with us on a ship of adventure to meet the Thief of Baghdad in that ancient land of mystery, romance, thrills, and excitement. Baghdad, city of magic. Baghdad, where breathtaking miracles leap before your eyes. There was a rich and powerful king in Baghdad, and there was a lovable little thief.
When darkness falls, leave your palace, go among your people, mix with the crowds.
Then fate threw together the powerful king and the little thief on the road to strange adventures.
I also think this is the first mainstream kind of British and Hollywood film to use what they used to call blue screen, which is now mainly green screen. This is an absolute slice of cinema history, though, Van, isn't it?
It absolutely is, and as you pointed out, it's a very obvious touchstone for in the late 80s, going into the early 90s when they would release it, what Disney would use as the basis for, their animated Aladdin. Like you say about the visuals being still sort of extraordinary in their own way, it reminds me a lot of Jason and the Argonauts with Harry Hamlin and the Harryhausen special effects effects that are in that, the stop motion effects, and how they still hold up, how they don't look photorealistic by today's standards, but there's still that inherent charm to them that still never ages in its own way. It sort of stays timeless and relevant to that specific film, and this is very much one of those for me.
Okay, so it is 11:55 a.m. That's Sunday morning, 5 to 12, Talking Pictures TV. Do give them your support. They're a great Freeview channel. You've also got Colonel Blimp starting at midday on BBC Two, also by Michael Powell. But you've gone late Sunday night, 11:05 on Film 4. This is an Arnold Schwarzenegger later film. I think it's from 2014. Tell us about Sabotage, Van Connor.
I shall. And I think as well, by the way, Paul, you should be introducing every film on Talking Pictures TV. I think it's a very brilliant role for you. I think that's absolutely where we need
to. If only. I'd be more than happy to help
film.
him out. It's Danny Kelly loves it. Danny Baker loves it. It's a brilliant channel, Talking Pictures TV.
I'm starting that petition. FYI. Anyway, so Sabotage, 2014 movie from David Ayer, stars the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Joe Manganiello, Sam Worthington, Terrence Howard, bolster of a cast. Olivia Williams is in there, Harold Perrineau, you name it, they're all in there. This was one of Arnie's intended comeback vehicles following his political career. I think he'd come out of office 2 years before this. He'd had The Last Stand, Escape Plan, and then this. This was intended to be the gritty one of his set. And the idea here is that he plays something of an anti-hero for a change. Arnie is the leader of an elite DEA strike team, or a sort of strike force. They take down the most dangerous cartel gangs imaginable. They, in this case, happen upon a safe house that harbours a lot of drug money. They stash a bunch of it in the sewer to come back to later. They blow up the rest to cover their tracks. And months later, when they've all agreed to come back to it, they happen to start getting picked off one by one. And of course, the question then becomes, who have they missed during this raid? Who might be coming back for revenge? Is it someone on the team? Is it someone who happens to know about it from the outside? Who is killing off this DEA team? And I've got a clip for you about how this all starts to get very confrontational, how the team starts to turn inwards on one another.
Sabotage, 11:05, Sunday night on Film 4. Have a listen.
Any of this a surprise to you?
Just let it go, huh?
Surprise to you, Sugar?
I don't really know what you're talking about.
Guess I'm the only one with any balls here. It's the goddamn money.
Just let it go, all right?
No! It's an occupational hazard when you fight the cartels.
Oh, really? You see any other feds getting smoked?
It could happen to anyone.
You believe that, Chief? Or is that just the you're spitting in case this place is bugged?
Always assume that someone is listening.
I ain't gonna fight you, boss.
Very loosely based, if memory serves, on the Agatha Christie story, and Then There Were None. But you've got a personal reason for choosing this one, Van Connor, have you not?
I have a soft spot for this film because in 2014, when they were promoting this, whichever PR agency was working for Lionsgate at the time, invited a certain number of journalists to one-on-one interviews with Arnold Schwarzenegger for this movie. To which, of course, being, 3 years into my career as a film critic, I would accept. And I adore Arnold Schwarzenegger. I worship the man. I've read his book cover to cover several thousand times. And I showed up only to find out that plans had changed in the 2 hours it took me to get to London. And now it would be a press conference chaired by none other than Keith Lemon and filmed. And it became very obvious. I don't know why it was filmed. They never used it for anything.
No.
It never turned up on any... I asked my girlfriend at the time. She watched all of his shows. When you tell me if this turns up, it never did. Arnold Schwarzenegger clearly had no idea who on earth Keith Lemon was. And it was very obvious and very awkward and very hilarious.
And he was waiting for Van Connor to turn up. Van, you're great fun as ever. Tell us how people can find yours and Rebecca Perfect's musings on matters cinematic. Where are you online at the moment?
Musings home cinematic at the moment for obvious reasons, but you can find us on podcast platforms. This morning, our new episodes go live at 6 a.m. every Friday on podcast platforms on the Off-Screen Show, where we provide your ultimate 7-day guide to everything movies, which of course doesn't include theatrical movies at this moment in time. However, there are new movies that you can stream and buy and rent at home. We've got our 7-day guide to Freeview. We've got DVD, we've got streaming, we've got everything on there every Friday at 6 a.m. on Off-Screen.
So that's Off-Screen, but he's on the radio with us each and every Friday. That's the great Van Connor talking to me, Paul Ross on talkSPORT Extra Time, and that's a wrap.
talkSPORT.